Definitely a favorable map for both characters, I think, with gauntlets and guitars. Probably be the best map for both of those next to Shipwreck.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Here we go, 3, 2, 1, brawl. Who's going to get that weapon first? Looks like Tiffany going to come in here with that sword. Put the pressure already on Trophus, who does go for those gauntlets off the bat. Sidelight coming out from Tiffany. Tiffany moving back, trying to bait Atrophius in. Atrophius does hit with that sidelight into... tries to get into the neutral air, but Tiffany too wise for it and moves out of that zone.
It's yellow and yellow right now. There's a lot... Oh, not really a whole lot going on in the neutral game. It looks like there's some weapon throws, and Trophus is just trying to find his way in, but can't quite too much. Tiffany really weapon starving him now. Hopefully Atrophius can bring it back unarmed. But right now, Tiffany just seems to be controlling the entire map, especially the weapons.
But you know what? You gotta notice that Atrophius is comfortable being a little bit of patient here and isn't running blindly in to get the weapons. And he does use that to pick up the scythe, this golden scythe, with all that sweet glory that you get from the end of the season. And it's a very even game, as both players, I think, are figuring out maybe how to engage each other, even though they're from the same clan. Kind of figuring what's going to be the meta of this one game, of this one match, of this setup. Tiffany being the more aggressive here with those guitars and able to get that string in. Again, every little piece of damage, I think, at a level that's going at this pace does matter, because it's very, can change. But there's the recovery. Wow. What a string. Tiffany does recover and goes in for the falling Sare, but Atrophius ready to punish.
That's right, Atrophius went for the punish a little too quickly. Tiffany read that and avoided it, but it doesn't quite matter because Atrophius does take Tiffany's first stock.
And Atrophius not in a bad position here. And look at Atrophius edgeguard that weapon, moving back, and just so that hitbox has the longest time over that weapon with that scythe neutral air, I believe. It's really nice choice right there to just edgeguard it. And now again, though, the guitars out from Tiffany have been very effective, picking up a lot of damage onto Atrophius.
Atrophius still spacing out Tiffany quite a bit. He's not going too aggressive. He doesn't want to lose that first stock of his. He's not really at that great of an advantage right now. Tiffany definitely capable of turning the game around. Charges up the side stick a little too much.
And look at Atrophius just move back, waiting for Tiffany to move into that zone of control that Atrophius has all around him. Tiffany on the edge, trying to bait Atrophius into a side air, maybe into a recovery, something like that. Side air does come out, knocks the weapon out from Atrophius. Atrophius gonna get the dare. He's gonna recover to the right side. No, he will recover to the left side here, taking his time and dodges to the wall, able to juke Tiffany here. Goes for that weapon. The weapon vanishes just before he's able to pick it up. And there's the side air. We're gonna see a follow-up from Tiffany.
Oh, but the sword combo, the sword down light into the Sare takes down Atrophius' first stock. It's practically even right now. Tiffany can definitely bring Atrophius down to that damage range, but Atrophius trying to space her out as much as he can.
Atrophius again with that scythe. Like you said, he's the scythe rep in his area of control, using that scythe, using the knowledge of the control is just really, really nice. Tiffany with the sword, though, has been pretty aggressive with that sword in the past. Dodges through Atrophius right there. Will hit that sidelight, goes for neutral air. Atrophius moves just to the left of it.
This is definitely the longest game we've casted this tournament so far. Definitely the most spacing to go out to, but it looks like the neutral state catches Tiffany, flies him into the air. Doesn't quite kill, though. But Tiffany is red on that second stock. Atrophius almost there, too. It's still anyone's game.
I mean, Atrophius is really throwing out these hitboxes, and the time in between the attacks, not allowing a lot of space for Tiffany to get in there and punish. But Tiffany will hit that side sig, yeah? Yeah, side sig. Sorry. Like 2-3 times in a row, Atrophius gets knocked out the right. The Sare comes out. The Sare does not hit. Atrophius dodges through it, allowing Atrophius to survive more on this stock.
Tiffany side-stigging a little too much. It becomes readable for Atrophius, and it looks like the dare into the throw takes down Tiffany's second stock. Atrophius just barely ahead. Probably going to hold on to those gauntlets for a little bit to rack up as much damage as he can. Tries to do a weapon throw into a nice combo. It doesn't quite work out for him, though.
I mean, it's pretty close. Damage on Atrophius is high. If Tiffany picks up a side air like he just did right there, he could be in a really good position to go ahead and get the KO. But I mean, it is very close. And Tiffany, I mean, on that bag edge here, more than 4 minutes, nearly 5 minutes so far into this game. Atrophius is getting in there with that little bit of extra range, but the downline to side air from Tiffany, knocking Atrophius again to the side. Watch out, he's still got to dodge. The ground pound gonna cancel out onto that platform. But
and the combo misses. It only goes halfway with the downlight. Doesn't quite go into the stair.
The dares, dude.
Could this be a 2-stock? And no,
Ground
the ground pound. Master's Curse. Atrophius loses that 2nd stock.
1-to-1 either way. Atrophius picking up. Gonna opt out here for the gauntlets. I'm gonna see. Interesting to see if he will use these gauntlets, and then when a weapon shows up, if he'll switch to scythe. He's been doing really well with that scythe this entire game. But
yeah,
in the meantime, Tiffany has been Tiffany using those gauntlets, that space for gauntlets, and unarmed to really even up the damage here and get some good hits in. There's an immediate downlight though for the punish recovery. Tiffany moving down below to survive by the down air. Out from Atrophius immediately into a recovery.
But Atrophius did find that really important dare with the scythe earlier, and I think it flew off Tiffany just a little bit. It's orange and red right now. It all comes down to this. Any signature from either person is extremely important. But the ground pound misses from Atrophius. Tiffany uses that to their advantage, goes to the ledge. The down sig misses.
There's the recovery coming out, and the sig out onto Atrophius. I mean, damage is even. There's Atrophius trying to jump.
Atrophius loses that final stock.
Tiffany gonna take the first game right there. Very, very pressure game, I think, for both players. Very interested to see how our next game will go.
Alright, it looks like Atrophius is sticking with the Mordex, Tiffany with the Azuri. And I think we're gonna go to map banning right now.
Alright. Tiffany does take that first game. Sticking on that Azuri, like you said, with that extra force. We still got that extra defense on Mordex. I mean, it's...
Oh, and it looks like we're on Mammoth once again. A complete redo of last match. Well...
Interesting.
Okie dokie. Let's do this.
Okie dokie. Gonna get that weapon first. Atrophius moving in, but Tiffany saying no, gonna pick up that sword right away. And be interested to see if Tiffany allows Atrophius to pick up that weapon, and does. Those are gauntlets out for Atrophius. Tiffany, though, being very aggressive, moving back and using his spacing with the sword so effectively to get the Atrophius already into the orange. And I love that you see that reaction. You get hit by that sidelight from that gauntlet, and Tiffany is ready to just move above it, use that jump to move out of that range.
Atrophius trying to go a little bit more aggressive now with that grounded scythe. Sidelight's not really working out in his favor, though, and gets punished for it heavily by Tiffany's sword. Tiffany really spacing out a lot more than usual now.
The danger is so real when you move into the scythe, that scythe area zone of control. And right now, we're seeing Atrophius quickly try and even up the damage that Tiffany was able to dish out early on in the game. And doing so fairly effectively, using that downlight so effectively to stop all of Tiffany's approaches here.
It's orange and orange now. It's incredibly close. Atrophius trying to space out with that scythe quite a bit. There's still a little bit of struggle, at least against with Tiffany. You know, they are in the same plan like you said. So they can read each other out quite a bit, but looks like they know how each other play already. They're just trying to dissolve each other into seeing who will, pretty much last the longest. See who can win.
Really, if you look back, the recovery from Tiffany actually denies Atrophius' sig right there. I actually thought it went the other way until kind of the dust had settled right there. Beautifully done. What we are seeing, though, is kind of a very much back and forth. Tiffany getting in there with these recoveries, the unarmed recoveries, like nobody's business, falling on top of Atrophius and then going for the recovery. And I think that abuses maybe kind of an area, a null zone in the range of either of those weapons. There's a downline to the side air. Does it set up for the KO? Is Tiffany going to follow it up with the KO? We're going to see ground pound, side air. I don't know. Atrophius will recover, will be on that wall touch.
Tiffany knew that was way too readable, and that Atrophius would punish it somehow with ending that first stock. So neither of them fell for it, ended in a stalemate. Oh, and there we go, the dare into the throw. Ground pound, and Tiffany loses that first stock. Atrophius just like a single hit, advantage right now. Pretty much anything will end that first stock for him.
Very close. I mean, if Tiffany can land another one of these neutral heavies or these recoveries, unarmed recoveries, it'll do it. Any kind of hit, any kind of side air, any kind of aerial move right now, except for maybe a neutral air, will most likely get a KO here. And you can see Tiffany going in for those recoveries. Atrophius moving back very effectively to just not get hit, taking up a little bit of damage here and there. But there's the side stick for the KO, going to bring us down to 2 stocks about 3 minutes into this game.
That's right, Tiffany hasn't really lost too much damage this stock, not really too much to cry over. She can definitely bring this back. Atrophius spacing out those gauntlets a lot more than he did with the scythe, trying to find an in to attack her. Goes for the weapon throw, doesn't go for any combos.
I mean, Tiffany, it's difficult, but I think every time we've seen Tiffany take a very clear, definitive, demonstrative leave has been when Atrophius has these gauntlets or has not had a weapon. And yeah, there we see the throw. Atrophius setting up to pick up that scythe and immediately more aggressive with that scythe, picking up a couple light attacks, picking up that neutral air.
Tiffany definitely trying to... Oh no, she tried to float around a little bit and stay just outside the grasp of anything Atrophius could do, but the neutral sig does catch her. Hiding on the ledge now, Tiffany tries to find her way in with those guitars. Can't quite find the side light or a down light. Side sig misses, and the nair into the weapon, into the throw. Ground pound misses. Atrophius with the recovery, takes out the scythe and gauntlets again.
Tiffany's damage very high, 1 hit away. That downlight into the directional input will get the KO right there, bringing Tiffany down to his final stock. Atrophius sitting comfortable right now here in that kind of light orange area. Tiffany going with a sword. It's just really interesting to see how this game will develop. If Tiffany is able to get this KO fairly early, we could see another game that comes down to that final stock, and it's another very close game. But if Atrophius is able to keep this pressure up with that scythe and keep getting in there and just building up the damage bit by bit by bit, it's going to set Atrophius up for a really good, tail end of this match, nearly 5 minutes in.
I wonder if we're going to run out the clock. But anyways, Atrophius still spacing out Tiffany quite a bit. Tiffany's just trying to find that in for a downlight stair combo, but finds the down sig. Tiffany doesn't throw the weapon, doesn't ground pound. Atrophius tries to go to the other side, realizes it's not worth it, tries to go back to the ledge, but the downlight into the stair.
Nice dodge. Look at the wall touch. Atrophius going to the right side, using that movement and those jumps that you have so well. And Atrophius is just a breath away from getting KO'd, and Tiffany has been so close to picking up this KO, hitting out this KO, so close. There's a side air. We're going to see the follow-up here. Atrophius has the dodge ground pound. Coming out from Tiffany, Atrophius just stopping a little short of it, not going to let himself get hit by it.
Oh boy. Tiffany really losing that once demonstrative lead that she had last game. Red on the final stock, Atrophius dark red on that second stock. It is looking fabulous for him this match.
And there's the recovery for the KO. Atrophius will take it and move on to the next. No, sorry, best of 3. What am I saying? Best of 3 right now.
Ooh, it's 1-1. Finally, we have a match like that. And it looks like Tiffany might be changing away from the Azuri.
I don't know. Gonna wait here for this choice. Mordex staying where he is. Atrophius not gonna swap off of this legend pick.
Mordex is definitely a favorite of Atrophius. I have 2v2 with him a little bit. 2 players versus 2 players in ranked. Great game. If you don't know anything about Brawlhalla, that's a fun game mode. But he is excellent at Mordex, let me tell you. But it looks like Tiffany going in for the Hattori. Interesting.
I love this choice. I think that spear provides a lot of range against Scythe. And just seeing how this is gonna line up again is gonna be interesting. This is the game 3, so whoever wins this will move on in the bracket. So this is where this is the money match. This is where it comes down to.
That's right. I guess we're just waiting for... Are they waiting for us to say that they can go? Or, yep, there we go. They're about to start, and we're going to have map banning. Alright, King's Pass and Thunderguard, Blackguard Keep, Great Hall, all the first to go. We have our top 3, Twilight, Mammoth, and Shipwreck, and no, we're starting over once again. Tiffany now doing the striking. King's Pass, Thunderguard, Shipwreck. Blackguard going down, Great Hall, Mammoth, and Twilight left. And we go for the Twilight pick. Interesting choice for Atrophius. I do feel like Twilight might be a little bit more in Tiffany's favor with that spear and sword, but I think with the scythe in that small island, it might be able to work out in his favor.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see right now on Twilight how this is gonna line up. Atrophius already very aggressive, picking up a long string there to get Tiffany out into that orange. A little bit of a clash right there, pushes Tiffany back. Opting to use the sword, and I think that's the consistent weapon against both character picks for Tiffany is this sword, which Atrophius has been showing very well. He's been able to kind of outspace and outrange just a little bit. Here's the swap to the spear. Highlight out, Atrophius does get the punish. There's a neutral air, Atrophius with the downlight into the down air, but Tiffany not there. Tiffany avoiding it beautifully, picks up the recovery. Highlight.
One thing to notice, I believe off the top of my head, Azuri does have more defense than Hattori, correct? I want to say yes.
You know, I'm actually not so sure about that. Neither are legends that I typically play super well, but I think you're right. But Tiffany has been, with the spear, doing a really nice job. We're looking at a lot of damage more put out on both players at the moment than in either of our prior games at this point. And we're only 1 minute in. Both are in the red. Both are in that kill zone. Side stick coming out from Tiffany, but Trophus gets the punish. There's the downlight. Again, Atrophius pushing out to the left. Always interesting choice to see why and how they do that. Why and how the player does that. There's the down air though, and the recovery picked up from Atrophius, and Tiffany throwing out the glasses.
Well, one thing to remember though, regardless of what Azuri's defenses are, is that Hattori does not have a whole lot of defense at all. And you know, with that adjustment between two characters, you gotta keep that defense in mind. I think that might be part of the reason why Tiffany is struggling right now. But it looks like Atrophius might be about to lose that first stock. But it looks like he is playing a little bit more floaty than he did on the Mammoth maps. Definitely trying to catch the Hattori in the air.
I mean, Tiffany playing a careful game here, knows it's just a hit or two away on this KO. Gonna throw away that sword, gonna go instead for the spear, but Atrophius guarding this weapon really effectively. There's the recovery, does get the KO.
Oh boy.
Tiffany gonna go ahead and grab that spear, edge guarding this weapon. No, Atrophius able to get in there with the gauntlets, but keep in mind those gauntlets have been an area in the past where Tiffany has been able to get in there and do a lot of punish. The neutral air comes out from Tiffany. Down air though, out from Atrophius. Very even on these second stocks. Tiffany a little bit more damage than Atrophius, but either way, it could turn around in 1 or 2 strings. That's about a 10-second difference right here, depending on who gets the initiative and where the momentum goes in the match.
Atrophius isn't going to allow that to happen though. Playing a little too floaty for Tiffany's taste, he just keeps avoiding anything that spear throws at him until he got the scythe. And even then, he's still playing really, like I said before, a lot more floaty than he did in the rest of the other matches.
Back dodge into that sidelight from Atrophius is going to set Tiffany off onto the right side a little bit here. And we're seeing a very close damage game at the moment. Tiffany does get the sidelight, but Atrophius dodging through the downlight. That is not a true combo. It is just mostly pretty good with the frame data, frame time. The down air though, Tiffany has Atrophius on the edge. Atrophius recovers to the wedge. Tiffany goes in for the weapon, but not before Atrophius can pick up that down air.
Wow.
And then the recovery for the KO.
The sidelight into the recovery. A fantastic scythe combo. Atrophius now an entire stock ahead from Tiffany. Tiffany still has every chance to bring this back though. All it takes, like you said before, is a few excellent strings with the spear or even the sword. We've seen a lot more.
To see Tiffany go for the neutral light into the chase dodge. Atrophius though able to punish it. And again, Atrophius putting out so much damage onto Tiffany, who's already into the orange on that final stock. Tiffany though does hit that neutral air. Around these side airs too, staying above Atrophius, but Atrophius comfortable staying grounded. Will not hit that neutral sag. Tiffany will avoid it, but Tiffany's damage is so high at the moment.
Tiffany's got to play this super cautiously if they want to have a chance to win this. They need to run down, though it might not seem like the most ideal and fun way to play. The way to
what a punish!
Not looking good. Tiffany hits her really well. This might be a repeat of last match. Trophies go in for the ground pound punish, but just cannot find the in for it without getting punished himself. Tries to find, they can't quite find it.
And the downlight with the forward motion for the KO right there. Mordex being a really nice pick for Atrophius. Atrophius is gonna go ahead and take game 3 in the set, and we'll move on into the brackets.
Toast is